Hello everybody, Lucy here for the Scrapbook Cottage in Winnipeg. I'm going to be making a notebook holder during this session. It's quite a handy little tool. It measures, what's the measurement here? 5 1/4 by 8 1/4, so it's quite large. I'm going to go through it with you before I start. So when you first open it, you have a little spot here for post-it notes with a magnet. On this side, when you open it up, there is a pocket where you can put envelopes, bills, whatever you need. A pencil, it's included in your kit. And then this little book, this little notepad, also comes in with it. And that's it. These little pads, I got, I'm sure you can get them at Staples, but I think I got these at the dollar store. So that is our notebook holder. So let's get started. We're going to start like we do for any project. We're going to start with our cover. And let's see here. Do we have to add these two together? I think we might. Yeah, it says to add them on the 11-inch sides. I'm thinking I might need just that little bit extra room. Let's see. 1 inch. That goes there. And yes, that is it. So in your kit, if you're using the kit, there's that little piece that needs to be put in on the bigger piece that says cover. So we're going to put, I think this is 3 millimeter, maybe 5 millimeter, no wider, of sequin, just to put these two pieces together. There we go. We'll burnish those together. Okay. Next, we're going to put sequin on these pieces. Now, I prefer to use the sheet sequin when I'm doing albums or projects like this. They come like this. They're very, I just find them easier than to unroll a big roll. I do have wide rolls of sequin as well that I do use, but my preference is the sheets. Just going to put these two side by side. Whoop, not quite side by side, I guess. And cut these off. And I save these pieces. I do not get rid of them. They are still good for smaller projects. Oh, okay, let's try that again. Okay, and we'll just cut this piece off. Doesn't matter that it's sticking out there. So we have those two all covered, and I still need to cover this one. So I'm going to use this piece. And we'll keep that. And I will use, I have almost every size of sequin, so there we go. All right. So I'm going to, I always do a dry fit before I start, just to make sure. This, I don't want to put this join here where I joined it. I don't want to put it too close to the edge of my folio here. So I think like that. These aren't, I'd like about an inch on each side. And, you know, if it's a little bit more, that's okay. You can always cut it off. You just don't want less, right? Now, what I have been doing in order to help make my cardstock a little stronger is I've been putting Tyvek along these two seams here. If you don't know what Tyvek is, I happen to have a black piece at home. In the store we sell white. What it is, if you have a carpenter in your family or no someone, it's what they use to wrap houses with, Tyvek. So if you know someone who's in the carpentry business, ask them to keep you pieces. It also, you can find it as envelopes. So offices will probably use Tyvek. You can't rip it. It's impossible to rip. Very strong. In fact, my cutter at work at the store was having trouble cutting it. I was having to cut it with a knife. So it's strong stuff. So I think you don't have to have a lot, just as long as these two pieces here, where it's going to be bending, opening and closing, as long as that's covered. Okay, so I'm just going to use this piece. See what I mean about cutting? It's not easy. So I'm going to put sequin on the back of this so that it doesn't move. I have pieces that, you know, maybe not good for anything else, but they're good for this. There we go. Doesn't have to be all covered. I just like to, for sure, the edges. And just this little area here. Okay, so this isn't going to be fun to take off, but we'll do it. So let's decide here, first of all, where we're going to have to put it. So if I put it here, it gives me a 1/2 inch. It's on that one, and it's on that one. So this is a good place to have it. There's an inch top and bottom. So I'm just going to mark my bottom one here, just so that I know roughly where to put it. So yeah, like I say, we sell it in the store. We sell it as large envelopes, and one envelope does lots of books because I don't cover the whole back with, or I don't, yeah, we don't cover the whole thing with it. Just where you have those, where the cardstock just needs a little bit of help, just to make sure that it stays put. Otherwise, I have had some that crack on me, and that's not fun. You go to all that work and the expense, and you have it crack. Okay, so remember, this was where I was gonna make sure my bottom was. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start with this piece, putting it down. Remember, an inch, about an inch from each side. And a friend of mine, who she and her husband have 3D printers, made me this. So this is an inch, so that helps me when I'm looking for this way. And it's 3/16 this way. This is the width that I need between one cover and the spine. Before I had this, I was using, I have to make sure that this is on here, right? I was using suquang, a strip of suquang, and you know, it added up. Suquang is not cheap, but that was one of the things, the only things I could think of to use that was fairly easy to use. So when I got this, it's just so much easier. So much easier. You'll see here in a second. So this is right where it should be. I snug my spine up right up to it, and that's how much room I need to fold. I'm going to do the same here. No, okay. Sometimes it doesn't like coming off. There we go. Snug it up. And it's done. Okay. Just gonna what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my 9.5 suquang, which is the basic. It's the one I always use. And I'm going to put it all the way around the chipboard and the black cardstock, okay? So all the way, I don't need to go into the corners because we're going to be cutting those corners off. find my little notepad holder like this is very, very convenient. I know that we're technology savvy. We're supposed to, you know, use technology a lot, but there are still uses for jotting things down. I know as a teacher, I really liked mine because I didn't always have my computer with me or my iPad with me. So this little guy was handy. There we go. Now we're going to cut off these corners. I have another handy dandy tool that we sell in the store that my friend with the 3D printers also made for me. Before I had this, I would use 2 or 3 pieces of chipboard, stand them up, and then mark my line to see where I had to cut. And that was fine, but sometimes it wasn't the right width. So she made this for me. It is the right width for the chipboard that we sell in the store. If you have thicker or thinner chipboard, it's not going to be an exact measurement for you. But for the chipboard, and you know what, the chipboard we sell at the store is pretty basic. It's the one I think that most people have in their stores. So we're going to bend our cardstock. I like to bend mine this way. I make sure that my chipboard is right up against my cardstock this way. I found if I did it the other way, I was always pulling and trying to make sure, and I wasn't always perfect. This way, I am more perfect than most the other way, okay? So that's why I prefer doing it that way. I'm just pulling these up so that I don't glue them in or tape them in. That one's being difficult. Okay, are you gonna work for me now? Okay, now it's decided it's gonna work. Okay, so with all those up, I'm going to fold again. And I'm going to burnish. Push this down. And we're going to do the same to the other side. I like to do the sides first. Just the bigger pieces, I guess. Not sure. I don't know that there's a rule that says it has to be that way, but it's my preference. Again, I'm going to burnish. Okay, now we're going to do the ends. If we were to just bend this over, or even do the way I was doing, see how there's extra paper that's just kind of going to stick out and it doesn't look nicely finished. you're going to do is you're going to push that extra little paper that's on the corner there. You're going to push it in. It'll move. It won't rip if you're gentle enough. Now you're going to see how nice that is. You're going to see here. Let's see how nice those corners are. They're not sticking out. So we're going to do the same thing on this one. Just push that in. Sometimes it's easier than other times. And whoop. There we go. Okay, so our folio is done. Okay, and these will not crack because of our Tyvek. Okay, we're going to look at the flap now, which is looks like this. We're going to score it. We're going to score it on 5 7/8. And when I say on 5 7/8, I mean the 5 7/8 is on top. Okay, so on 5 7/8 at 1/2 and 3/4. Okay. You know what? Let's keep burnish. Let's keep scoring. The next part will be B. It's the back pocket. It doesn't look very square. Let's see here. Okay, I think that's much better. There we go. So on the 7, that's 6. So on the 7, that's not 7 either. Good grief. 6 1/16 by 7. Okay. If it doesn't look right to your eye, please check it because that's 7. Okay, so on the 7, we're going to score at 1/2. And on one end. And then on the 6 1/16, we're going to score at 1/2 on both ends. So I'm just going to flip it over and go 1/2. So we've scored here, here, and here. Okay. The file pocket is C. And we're going to score it at 5 1/4. So the 5 1/4 on top at 1/2 and 7/8. We're going to swivel to the right, and we're going to score at 1/2. So what we've done is we've made an L. Okay. Now the Post-it note holder, D. So on 5, we're going to score at 1/2 and 7/8 on both sides. So we're going to just flip it, much easier than trying to do the math. 1/2, 7/8. Okay, swivel to the right. And, oh, just a minute, I'm on the wrong. Okay, so on the 8 3/8 now, we're going to score at 2 3/8, 5 1/2, and 5 7/8. Okay, There we go. Okay, let's go back and take our A. And we're going to put tape on this part here. So the 1/2 inch part. Okay, we're not going to put it on the score line, off the score line, and just on this 1/2 inch. And B, we're going to put it on, we don't need to go to the corner because we're going to be cutting that corner off. I'm going to tape like that. And this guy, we need to do the 1/2 inch here and the bottom. Okay, and the post-it. Now, I think we'll leave it the post-it. That's another, we have to do a few more things before we tape. Okay, so let's take our A piece and we're going to fold it on that score line that we taped. Okay, and we're going to burnish it. And we're going to score it on that other, sorry, we're going to burnish it on that other score line. So what we have is a little gusset. Okay, let's take a look at our B. Our B is a pocket. So we're going to cut this corner off. So cut through the X that is made by your score lines. Okay, just through the X. And we do that so that we don't have a whole lot of paper on our corners. So we're going to fold that. I like to burnish on the paper, not on the tape. It has a tendency, the sukwang will have a tendency to kind of go wavy, kind of like bacon when it cooks. So we do it this way. Okay, that goes, yeah, that's going to go there. All right, our C, we're going to fold and burnish. And we're going to make an angle of this pocket. So we're going to mark at 1 3/4 from the left along the top. So here's the ruler. I'm going to go from the score mark, not from the edge, okay? So 1 3/4 is here. And I'm going to go 3 3/4 from bottom on the right. So I think this is from the bottom, 3 3/4 here. Not much of an angle, but it's a little angle. Actually, doesn't look like the one I made here. Let's look at this again. The file pocket at 3 3/4 from bottom on the right. I think I would prefer, I mean, we can do it that way. Let me show you what it looks like. Whoop. So we're going to cut this off. So that's the angle. To me, it's not enough of an angle. I would prefer if we went 1 3/4 from the top, which would be about here. So then it would look more like what I did. But you know what? It's totally up to you. I don't like that small of an angle. I'm not sure why I said that, but perhaps I made a few that way, and yeah, I like this way better. You decide what you like, but I kind of like this better. We're going to cut through here, and we have that ready to go. Now, when we get to D, which is our Post-it note holder, let's take a look at it. So we're going to cut out the rectangles in all the corners. So we're going to take out even the scored pieces. And I said, see picture, and I did give you a picture, okay? So if we take a look at the picture, we are taking off all of this. We're taking off even these guys. We're taking off, I'm having trouble seeing here, taking all of that. And we're taking off all of this and all of this. Okay? So all this rectangle here is going to get taken off. I'm going to use my bigger scissors to do that. Could use your cutter as well. Go. Okay, so we're left with this. Now, the top flap is the smaller one, so this will be the top flap. Okay, these are the side flaps to keep our Post-its in, right, like this. I'm just going to use my scoring tool here, my burnishing tool, to get a nice crisp burnish. Okay. And this piece is the bottom. Now, I have said in my instructions that if you want to curve these edges, to round them, you want to round them now, because it'll be too hard to round them later. Let's see, what have I got here? Okay, let's see. I don't think that's gonna work. Let's try this one, my old handy dandy one. So I'm gonna go a 1/2 inch. If you want to just leave it, that's fine too. There's no reason that you have to do that. Just maybe looks a little bit more finished, right? So I'm going to put a Post-it note in there because it'll make it a lot nicer for me to, Well, we have little Post-it notes here. Come on. Okay. I need a regular. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put tape up to here. So instead of putting it on here, I'm going to put it on here. All right. And I'm going to put it right along the edge, not on the scored part. Okay. Up. Okay. Same thing on this side. Rid of that. And now we want to close this up nicely so that when we close it, it sits nice and neatly. That side went nice. This side is giving me a bit of trouble. There we go. Okay, so now our Post-it will sit nicely inside there. Okay, now we want to put a magnet in here, and you have a magnet in your kit if you've bought the kit. And let me just get my magnets here. Okay, what I like to do is I put a glue dot on it. I put it where I think it needs to be. It won't matter. I don't like to put it right on the edge because then it's hard to put pattern paper. It won't sit nicely. I like to put a piece of sukwang on there just to keep it nice and in its place. Before you put your pattern paper, take the paper off of the sukwang. And we're going to put another glue dot on this one. And I'm going to close it nicely. And again, I'm going to put a piece of sukwang on here. And we have our little Post-it note holder done. Okay, let's start putting together the other ones. So we're going to attach this to the left side of the inside cover. You know what I haven't done? Now that I'm looking at this, we need to have yeah, I don't like to leave this like this, and it doesn't look like we're going to be putting pattern paper over this right now. So I'm going to take another piece of black cardstock, and I'm going to put in a piece that's 3 inches by 8 inches. Yeah, 3 by 8. So that that's going to cover this nicely, and you won't have to worry about it. So let's get a piece that's 3 by 8. And I have so many pieces of paper, but I will be adding this to yours if you don't have it in your kits. Okay, let's see, is that going to be, yes, that'll be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put tape around there. I call this a gusset hider. There we go. This way, I think. So I want to hide this tape here, and I want to be even top and bottom. So I think that's good. So we're gonna, and we're gonna fold again. Yeah, now this looks finished. Okay. So now this little book is finished. Okay, so on the front, remember I said I was going to put this in the back where my seam is. So on the front, we're going to be putting this in right here. And it goes, it's pretty much the same width. So it's going to go maybe 1/16 of an inch away from the edge here, but even with the other. Oh, I didn't miter this. We want to miter. Okay, and mitering just means taking off the little corners just a wee bit. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are even with the top and bottom, and that we were like 1/8 of an inch away from this edge. So it's like looking at 3 different parts all at once. And I'm stuck. I'm stuck. There we go. Okay, let's try this one more time. I don't want to have my head in the way here. Come on, okay. You know, if I wasn't trying so hard, it would probably go down much easier. But I'm trying too hard to be perfect. Okay, so it's here. And we have that little gusset so that if we put lots of things in our envelope here, in our file envelope, we have room. Okay, so now we're going to put in this corner. And you know what? I don't think we needed to do this second score line. So this is something I'm going to change here too. I'm going to make a note for myself. Add gusset hider. 3x8. And the file pocket, we don't need to score at 7/8. All right, so it's going to go right here, right there like that. Okay, now you might want, let's see if I did, or what did I do here? I put this in after I put my pattern paper down. So I put my pattern paper down, then I put this in. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in now with repositional tape, which simply means that I can move it when I want to. Okay, So I'm just gonna put tape on my suquang and just set it. Oh, I didn't. Am I out? No. Maybe it just doesn't like. It's just little dots that. So I'm going to put it about 1/16 of an inch from that side and the same along the bottom. Okay, so it's going to be here. Oh, see, it didn't even work. There we go. Okay, so it's going to be there after you put your paper in. So that's done. After you put your paper in, you're going to put your Post-it note holder on this page. You can put it wherever you wish. You may want to put it in the center, on the back, wherever. On the top, bottom. Okay. And we need our pocket. Our back pocket, yeah. So we're going to miter these top corners just so that they don't show. Okay. And again, I would put, you know what? There's not much room left. You could put it in now and just add a piece of pattern paper on top there because it doesn't show. It's not going to show at all. So I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put the bottom in first. And this is just going to flatten down by itself. And this is where you're going to put your pad of paper. It's going to slip in here. Okay. Now, we've got one thing left to do, and that is, if you noticed, I forgot to put, whoops, I forgot to put this guy down. Okay, we're going to have to do that. We'll just lift it up. I'm going to take a little piece of ribbon. Let's see. What color do I have? I have black, since it's a black book that we have. Okay, I'm going to take just a wee piece and I'm going to lift this piece up a little bit. If you've never used undo, it is the album maker's best friend, at least this album maker. All it does, it just lifts, it takes up whatever paper you want, as long as you've used tape. Okay, it won't lift up, it won't lift, oh, that was pretty stingy. It won't lift up wet glue, okay, but it will lift up tape. So I am going to put this in here like this. Again, I think I was stingy. Let's try a little bit bigger, Lucy. It looks bigger and then I just make it stingy again. Okay. See how it just goes back down and you don't have to the tape is still good. and it does not change the color of your paper. Once it's dry, it's good. So my pencil is going to go in here like that. My paper pad's going to go there. The only thing I haven't done is it's not staying closed. What I used was a piece of elastic cord that just elasticizes and does that. And so you want to do that. Oh, see how I was so stingy? I'll have to fix that. You want to find what half is it here, and you want to make a hole through here, through there, but after you have put your pattern paper down, because you want it to go right through, right? And you want it about double this side, right? You don't want it to be too tight, or, you know, just try it out and see. And I just simply made a knot, and it has stayed, it's worked. So that, my friends, is the notepad holder. Quite quick to make, not very difficult, and I think quite useful. It's not for pictures, it's a useful item. So I am going to leave you with that now. I hope you get to try it. I hope you enjoy making it, and I hope you enjoy using it. Before I leave, I'm going to ask that if you watch this video or any other video from the Scrapbook Cottage, if you would be so kind as to subscribe. It just helps us. What happens is once we have 50 subscribers to our channel, we can upload videos. We can do the video live right on YouTube. Right now, I'm having to video from my phone or my iPad, and then I have to upload it to YouTube, which takes almost as much time as it did to do the video itself. So it's a time saver. So, and we'd love for you to subscribe to our channel. So I'll let you go. Have a great day. Bye now.